What type of conflict is taking place in the Middle East? How would you describe it?
Thank you very much for inviting me and being here. Look, the issue is really, whatever we see today is a byproduct of a larger conflict. We only see the byproduct. As in any conflict, if we don't deal with the core problem, we're going to have this sort of conflicts every now and then. It has always been there, but we don't see it daily. We only see it when it flares up. And the way we see it now is just another flare-up in this conflict between the Palestinians and Israelis.
Have you been exposed to similar types of conflicts?
I have. I lived my childhood witnessing the wars there in Jordan when I was living in Jordan. I witnessed the Israeli bombardments. I witnessed the violence. I witnessed all of that. I know what it feels like to be in the midst of it.
What is it like for you now rewatching this?
It's very sad, frustrating, knowing that this conflict could be resolved and could have been resolved many, many years ago. And yet we're still dealing with the same problem, with the same issue, except at more victims in both sides, that they are in pain and suffering.
Is there any opportunity to de-escalate violence on the ground now?
It's always, the opportunity is always there. All what we need is start to look at each other as humans and as equals. The problem is we don't. We're not seen as a human being worth of being talked to, negotiate with. It's really, that's as simple. It's sad when I met with 30 Jewish Zionist movement in Australia. They're young. They all served in the Israeli army. They all served in the occupied territory. And yet the first thing they told me, this is the first time we sit down with the Palestinian face to face discussing the issue. It is sad when they are there amongst 3 million and did not speak with Palestinian.
What steps can the government of Israel take, being the more functioning, equipped, financed and organised actor within this conflict? What steps can they take to stop Hamas from engaging in this violence?
Look, Hamas is a byproduct, again, from the conflict. When Israel decided to separate the West Bank from the Gaza and they closed Gaza from the world, they created Hamas. They're not dealing with Palestinian as one people. They're dealing Gaza and West Bank, separating them. Let them put them together again and let them be people again. Open the Gaza and start to treat people as humans. Collective punishment does not help.
Is a two-state solution really possible?
Absolutely. It's still possible. If Israel wants peace, and today, we don't know what Israel wants. The Palestinians and the Israelis negotiated over 20 years for the Oslo Accords. And to date, we have not reached anywhere near a settlement. The reason is we have more settlements, more land lost from the Palestinian side, and there's no appetite for peace from the Israeli government.
Hamas is being accused of starting this latest surge in violence with rockets launched from Gaza. Why does Hamas or people inside Gaza resort to this level of violence?
Well, let me put it this way. We went through lockdown here because of COVID for 3, 4, 6 weeks. And we frustrated and some people did not like it. And it is difficult. Can you imagine being 15 years in lockdown? And this is exactly what happened in Gaza. 15 years of being locked down, unable to move anywhere without Israeli permit. And being subjected to this violence every time there is a flare-up in the conflict, they get it. Collective punishment, demolishing buildings, demolishing roads, demolishing hospitals, schools. What do you expect? I'm not with violence. I don't support violence. But we need to put context to it. Rather than blame the victim, let us look at the both sides and their role in it.
So it's this lockdown that's caused things to get so bad between the two groups?
It has always been 15 years of lockdown where they are imprisoned. They can't get medical, they can't get schools, they have no future. What you don't have, you don't give.
How are you feeling about things at the moment? Where do you see this going?
Look, I'm hoping that sanity comes, and I'm hoping that the extremist government of Netanyahu does not get a second chance or fourth chance. I'm hoping that we have another rabbi in Israel who would really see the Palestinians as humans and start to really look at resolving this conflict rather than the byproduct. We can get the peace, we can get the ceasefire today, but for how long? We need really to deal with the whole issue, the core issue of the conflict between the Palestinians and Israelis, and reach peace, eternal peace with everybody living side by side, coexistence. We proved it here in Sydney. Palestinian and Jewish communities here have never had any violence between them. We live peacefully and we have relationships. Why can't we do it over there?
Abe Kodan, thank you so much for coming into the studio and speaking with us today, sharing all your insights. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.